Hello, guys, and welcome to the first edition of Fantasy Booking Friday. We are so excited to be here. And, well, Jaychele, I'm Jaychele. Wow, great start. I'm Jaychele, and this is Carisa, and we're your hosts. But we do have a special guest with us today, Miss Alex, Queen of the Ring. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm stuffed from yesterday.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm doing well, other than just being full.
Yeah. Carisa, how are you doing? We talked a little bit yesterday, but
yeah, I'm exhausted. I had to do some errands early in the morning. I am full, of course. I just had my second plate of food from last night, so.
You got some leftovers?
A lot.
Yeah.
I ate some mac and cheese early this morning. I had mac and cheese for breakfast, so that was really good. But I am very, very excited to do the show. This was an idea we've had for like a little while now. And basically the whole idea behind this show is we're going to be fantasy booking current events, and then also at the same time creating our own promotions to book out as well, which is really, really exciting. I kind of teased how I'm going to book my promotion on my Twitter today, and I'm definitely...
Wait. Is she... Wait. Let me text her real quick.
It's all good. Technical difficulties, as it
happens.
It happens to the best of us.
I'm going to continue off of what she said. So basically, her and I, we were texting like a few weeks ago or something, and she came up with this idea of wanting to do a fantasy booking show. So I agreed to it because I love fantasy booking. If anybody knows Alex McCarthy, he calls me the resident fantasy book, and I've had that nickname for a year now. So it's kind of great to, show off what I can do.
And it's also refreshing to see women fantasy book.
Yes, ma'am. I'm so excited. I originally came to Cassidy with this idea. I think it was like a random, he was at Full Gear. I was thinking of this while Full Gear was happening, because I was thinking about the One Winged Angel stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, like if they're not gonna have him kick out of this, there's so many ways that you could like fantasy book this. And I was like, okay, yep, we're gonna do it. So Carisa said yes, and here we are. I'm super, super excited. Let me pull up. I have a graphic. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about Full Gear, like I just said, and we are going to book. Well, where'd it go? Okay, I guess it's not going to come up. We're going to book who kicks out of the One Winged Angel first. So does anybody have an idea who should go first? When do you guys want to go? Do you want me to go?
Y'all?
It's kind of, I'm still like thinking of it, so I'll let Jaychele go first.
Okay, I can go. I had two choices for this idea because I think that there's two directions that AW could go, and both of them work for me just fine. The first idea I had was that they could choose a young star and use the kick out that they've protected for so long to actually make somebody to make their career. So for me, the first person I thought of was Ricky Starks for this. I'm a Ricky Starks mark. Love Ricky so much. But I really think that they need to start to push him. I think he's cleared. He's been wrestling on Dark and stuff like that. So I'm really hoping that he can take over like at least a part of the main event scene now. I think he's ready for it. And when Kenny comes back, they could figure out a way to let Ricky kick out. But the storyline aware side of this is I chose Adam Cole. I think if they weren't going to have Paige do it, they could have Cole do it to prove that he's really the new leader of the Elite or whatever, or that he's better than Kenny, because they've been teasing that storyline with the Bucks recently. Like when Kenny went away, he basically said that he was leaving the Elite in the hands of the Bucks, which obviously we saw Adam get upset with and all of that stuff. So I think those are my two options. It's either like Ricky Starks or Adam Cole for me, but I also think there's some wiggle room with the Ricky Starks thing. I think it really could be any young star who really deserves it, to be honest. So
that's a good answer. I went with a woman, just a woman. Might be like boring, but like I just want, like, I don't know. I feel like AEW has a good chance of combining a women's and men's wrestling together. I mean, just the same way that Impact does, and they've been doing a great job. Yeah. And I just, when you presented this question to me, I was like, a woman. Yeah. Why not? Like, I would love to see someone like
Hikaru perfect story.
Hikaru, I would love. She was definitely the first person to come to mind. Big Swole came to mind.
Oh, Big Swole.
Yeah, great. And like, I know a lot of guys are gonna be like, well, they're not gonna do it, blah, blah. It's called fantasy booking for a reason, baby. Yeah. It lives in my fantasy, and in my fantasy, the women rule. Right. So like, literally any woman on the roster, I want to see kick out. But if I'm gonna be more realistic to the wrestling internet schemes, I would say Eddie Kingston. I feel like Eddie Kingston is a strong component for Kenny Omega, and I feel like Eddie Kingston isn't really someone that Kenny has really faced of being that, like, tough New Yorker. And he's got so much grit to bring to a match against Kenny, and I feel like Kenny has faced, you know, I guess technical better opponents than Eddie Kingston, but again, with the grit of it all, I just don't think Kenny has really got has really, like, been matched up with that. So yeah.
Carissa, what are you thinking?
So I know, like Alex said, like one of the female competitors from AEW, and I would like, she just brought that to my mind right now. So I was thinking probably we could get Diamante to kick out the one-winged angel. I'd absolutely love that for her. And for like the men, I gotta go with the homie Homicide.
Oh God,
187 all the way. 187. I mean, because I don't think I've ever seen Homicide face Kenny Omega. Maybe they've had, like, in the, you know, back in the day of, like, Ring of Honor, like the OGs, but I really haven't. I don't think I've ever seen him, like, face Kenny Omega, like, in any promotion or any indie scene at all. But I really would love to see him kick out the Woman Good Angel. Like, that would make me fangirl a lot. Sorry, but
yeah, I think whoever they eventually choose, because I don't think it's going to happen forever where nobody kicks out. I really thought that Paige was going to kick out during the match, and I was surprised when it didn't happen, like many other people, but they didn't need it for the story. I think if they have a rematch, realistically, they'll have him kick out in the rematch. But I think if they do, it might have been a wasted opportunity, because no matter who they choose, it's going to raise somebody's stock. So they could choose somebody like a Punk or a Bryan or something like that, but they're already there. They're already those stars. Eddie Kingston could really use a boost like that for his career in AEW. That could take him all the way up to the World Championship if they really wanted to do that. They could even do one of the pillars if they wanted to do like an MJF or something like that. I mean, they haven't really told a story like that. The MJF has grit and stuff like that, but if they wanted to, they could. But it's going to send somebody into the stratosphere of AEW's championship reigns and all of that stuff. I think it would put them right in the picture for a world title. In general, do you think that there was any changes that they could have made with the Paige Omega storyline?
I feel like the Paige and Omega storyline, like, it played out so well. And although, like, it was a long story to tell, it's been, like, over a year now, and maybe even more since the beginning of, like, that very first all-out pay-per-view after their first pay-per-view, which was Double or Nothing. I feel like they played it out very well. And the match itself was really good. Yeah, I don't see what how else they would make it different or make it even better. Maybe giving Paige the title sooner, but I think that just made his win even sweeter when he finally got it.
Yeah.
And even so much with like the camera cuts to the Bucks, like looking at him and the backstage stories of him going up to the Bucks and being like, listen, I know I messed up, but I'm going to do what I need to do to win this title. And I applaud to them because they did a really good job telling that.
Yeah. Carissa, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Alex on this. Like, it was a story that was told 2 years ago. I remember when they started like announcing, who was joining AEW and the pay-per-view and all that stuff. Hangman Page, he did say that he was going to be the first ever world champion for AEW. That did not happen. Chris Jericho became the knockout champion, and I think the story with him and Omega being tag team champions, and from there, separating themselves, going solo. I think that story was told perfect. I think Tony Khan did an amazing job in booking this, and just everything with the Bucks, Adam Cole, the Dark Order, all these people, they were very essential into the story, and I think the way that was presented to us on TV, it lived up to the expectations. Like, I absolutely, every single thing was nailed down perfect. Like, no mistakes, no botches, no nothing. It was, I think, one of the best storylines in men's wrestling I've seen in so long. So,
yeah.
I completely agree. Oh, go, Alex.
No, I was going to say, I completely agree. I was going to say the exact same thing he said. I completely agree. And to add on that, like, with, I know everyone was really excited for Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega, and they knocked it out of the park with Grand Slam, and I know people wanted more, especially with that match being a draw, but it's perfect because not only do you give Adam Page a new champion, a brand new feud, a brand new opponent that he's never faced, Daniel Bryan, and to see that Daniel Bryan is taking on that like heel American Dragon role perfectly, but you're also holding off with Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega, and we can get that much later on down the road, is perfect. I feel like Carissa was saying, like everyone that played within that story, whether it was from Adam Page, Kenny Omega, even to Don Callis, the Elite, and the Dark Order, and even with these various opponents like Daniel Bryan, like everyone played the story out so well, and there were so many different puzzle pieces that just connected at the end when he finally won at Full Gear.
Yeah, I think I only have like 2-ish tweaks, I guess. I would have liked to see I don't know, maybe this is me liking some of the WWE booking, but I would have liked to see a 2-on-1 handicap match, the Bucks versus Paige, either after or going into Full Gear, because they obviously have that storyline. I feel like we'll circle back to that once we get to the rematch eventually down the road. But I just wanted to see, I really wanted to see Matt and Paige kind of lock up because they do have some history there. And also, I think the next time that we see Bryan and Kenny in a ring together, I think it'll be the opposite. I think Bryan will be heel, and I think Kenny will be face, because he's been teasing. He was teasing on the last episode of BTE that he was about to turn face when he was about to drink a monster, and he was saying he was happy that Paige won and all of that stuff. So he was very much being a face on BTE. So I think that's hinting when he comes back he'll be a face. But I'm really intrigued, and I wish they would go into this a little bit more. I don't know how exactly you could, but I liked when Paige pointed out that he beat Kenny in under 30 minutes when Bryan couldn't do that same thing. And I think that Paige is going to get such a huge rub from beating Bryan, beats Kenny, beats Bryan. I don't know who's going to be after him. But either way, I think it's all super intriguing. And I think that it's going to be very interesting to see how Paige's run goes, because I don't know how long the reign is actually going to be, because I think this one might be a shorter reign compared to the longer reigns AEW has had. But I don't know. Either way, it's going to be super interesting for me. So next, we do have the Survivor Series teams. And I want to let you guys because I messed around with this because I didn't like who were the champions on the women's side, so I changed them. So if you want to change who the champions are to mess with the Survivor Series team, that's fine. Do one of you guys want to go first for this one? We can just do all of the male team, like all of your male team Raw. We can all go, and all of the male team SmackDown, all go and do the same thing for female, if that's easier.
You want to do men's and then women's first? Yeah, let's leave the women for the end because they're the best, right?
Exactly. I think the women's teams are better, but do one of you guys want to go first for male for Raw?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So for my Raw male Survivors team, honestly, I didn't change much. I added Montez Ford.
Okay.
Just because, I just feel like he has it to be a singles competitor right now, and I almost feel like him in a tag team is slightly holding him back. Yeah. There's no disrespect. It's just Montez Ford. He's packaged very well. Like, he's got the charisma, he's got the skills, he's great on the mic, and a lot of the WWE universe loves him. So I feel like with a Survivor Series, people like Montez Ford, that's where they shine bright, is with a Survivor Series where they're in a match where there's other veterans, but he can also shine bright. Like we've seen with the NXT Survivor Series. Like, Keith Lee had a huge show out, and all he needed was just extra names in a match. So I feel the same way for Montez Ford. I have Kevin Owens, and I made Kevin Owens the leader.
I wish I should have the video. I should have got the video of you dancing to Kevin Owens. I should have put it in here.
Oh my god!
I didn't do that now. Oh my god!
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? I didn't even know. That's just me at a show. I had no idea I was on camera, and when I watched it back, I was like, they didn't even catch us going. We were going in. We were going harder than when we were. That was us warming up.
Oh my god!
And I didn't even know until I went to the bathroom for the next match. I was like, why is my phone blowing up more than normal? And it was because of that. But of course I would make Kevin Owens the leader. He's slept on, he's disrespected, and why not? It's in my fantasy. So I would make Kevin Owens the leader. Seth Rollins is definitely going to be on the team. Finn Balor is going to be on the team, and Bobby Lashley. So really, I'm not really changing anything around, just because the men's Survivor Series, ever since they've given the women a chance, I don't really care for.
Exactly.
To be completely honest, there are no stakes when it comes to Survivor Series. So for me, bringing in the same names but just adding in Montez Ford makes a little bit more sense. But with the SmackDown teams, I changed it all around. So I pretty much had a majority of people that were in the Battle Royal are on the SmackDown team.
Mine too.
Drew Gulak, Mustafa Ali, and Sami Zayn. They're in the match. And I kept King Woods and Drew McIntyre. Because I feel like, on paper, if you just have Drew Gulak, Sami, and Ali, it almost seems like they don't have a chance against Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, and Kevin Owens. But when you add those extra names like Drew McIntyre, that's easily, on paper, dominant as hell. And King Woods, I mean, all hail the king, right? Right. So that's my teams. So yeah, that's
Carisa. We can all compare at the end. I don't want to give away any of mine. Carisa, do you want to share your Raw and SmackDown teams?
Sure. So for my Raw, I mean, this is gonna be a difficult one, but I'm just gonna pick and choose. Okay. I'd say we definitely AJ Styles. Definitely. Yes. Because he's a legend. He's been in the Survivor Series match before. He knows what happens in that match. I think having him, see him, working in the ring with, the SmackDown stars like a Drew McIntyre. That match was amazing last year. any like with any of the men from SmackDown basically. So I'm gonna go with AJ Styles, and my next one definitely has to be Austin Theory. I mean, he's talented.
We will talk about Austin Theory offline.
Wait,
Carissa.
I mean, he is talented. He's amazing in the ring. I can't say anything.
He's talented, but he's a child groomer.
All right, but he knows how to wrestle. We don't talk about this off screen.
Okay, we'll do it later. I've made my position on Austin Theory very known on Twitter. So
my next one definitely has to be Cedric Alexander. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think he's ever been in a Survivor Series match. So
I doubt it.
Having him, being showcased more and having more time on TV, I think can prove as to why he should be on Survivor Series team. And definitely KO. I mean, like KO knows how to make moments. He is fantastic at what he does. Whether it be outside the ring, inside the ring, like he is an amazing person. I think having him just tops it all. I think that's my third so far.
That's your fourth.
Fourth. Okay, so
Yep.
my final one. Let's see. Randy Orton.
Are you gonna have him as tag champ too, or are you gonna switch that?
Switch that. So in this scenario, he's not a champion.
Okay.
He has no title. Like he's still a singles competitor at this moment.
Okay.
So have Randall there.
Okay.
And then SmackDown.
Yep.
Cesaro. I can't say anything bad about him. I mean, we've seen the match that he had with Walter in the UK. Like that man is like what 40?
Where did you see it? You watched it?
People had clips on Twitter, and I watched it.
Oh my god, I gotta find that. Okay.
I think
So
they
basically,
also
when I saw the
recorded
match
it, right?
with Walter,
did.
it was like this man can work. He's like 41 and still, excelling what he does.
Finn Balor is 40! 40! And that man gets a new ab every week, as Ryan would say.
I think so my next one for SmackDown, Jeff Hardy.
Smart.
Good choice.
You gotta go with it.
Yeah, he's always a good choice.
Yeah.
I'd say my next one definitely has to be Mustafa Ali. I mean, that man has been underutilized for so long. And the fact that
I think he has heat. I low-key think he has heat because there's no way that he wasn't in that 25-man battle royal unless he had heat because everybody was in it. Everybody except like two people. So
I think he probably had an excuse because he just had a child. So.
Oh yeah, that too. Okay, good. Because I thought he had heat because of the video he released about the gimmick he was supposed to have.
because he just had a child a few days ago. So
yeah, him and Kofi just had kids. So
yeah.
So I think Ali is definitely there. Ricochet. I mean, that also just like Mustafa Ali, he's been underutilized. Ever since he got brought to the main roster, his U.S. title reign was so short. But I think he's traveled all across the world in Japan, Mexico, and the U.S. Like that man can work.
I don't know why.
He can work. He can do a lot of things that nobody else can do in that ring. Like you can see it. Watch his matches from like Dragon Gate or Lucha Underground. Like you can see what he's capable of doing.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna hop back out and hop back in so I can fix this because I don't know why this is glitching like that. Give me 1 second.
Okay. I'm just killing time.
So I hope when this ends, I can watch the docuseries of the Beatles.
Oh, the beat on Disney Plus.
Yes, because I saw Ryan Sainz tweet it. He was like, it's out. I'm like, I gotta watch this. Like, I gotta see it. Like, I'm a big Beatles, mark. So
Can you guys see me and hear me?
I can hear you and I can see you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, sorry guys. I don't know why that happened, but okay. For my Raw team, I have Edge as my team leader. I don't care if he's not on TV right now. I want Edge on my team. I have Seth Rollins too because Seth Rollins is Seth Rollins. I also chose Keith Lee. I don't care if he's been released. He deserved to be on that team because he was supposed to get a push, even if it was as Bearcat Lee. So I would just assume that he was still employed. We're going to do that with another one I have on the female team as well. If I couldn't have him, I would probably do Finn Balor. And then I have AJ on my team also, and then KO as well. I tried to make my Raw team look like some veterans, and my SmackDown team look like the workhorses who are underrated, I guess. And if I had to choose a sole survivor from the Raw team, I'd probably go with Keith Lee because he didn't get that moment when he should have back in, 2019 when they did NXT? Was it then?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. And then my SmackDown team, I had Drew McIntyre because it's Drew McIntyre. I think you have to put him on the SmackDown team because he's the SmackDown warrior or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. I had Ricochet also. Mustafa Ali, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn. All of those are really, really strong workhorse stars that just haven't really been given the opportunity, especially recently. And I had Woods as my IC champ here, and that's why I didn't put him in this match. I think Woods should be the one to take the belt from Nakamura. So yeah, that was my thinking for this match, was to do some of the workhorses who deserve a push to kind of let them be highlighted by the veterans and the stars, I guess, that WWE. Wow, WWE have assumed to be stars. So that's just who I went with there. Do you want me to go back to back and then we can just do the order in reverse for female?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, let me preface this. My champions are Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks because I love Black women. Okay? That's what we're going to start with. My Raw team, I have Becky Lynch. I don't know how Becky Lynch doesn't have the title right now, but I'm not fantasy booking that right now, so I don't really care. And then I have Liv Morgan because Liv needs a push, obviously. They're not going to let her win against Becky, but I think they should have let her have a moment here with Bianca maybe in like the real pay-per-view. I had Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross, not ASH, Nikki Cross. No gimmick, no superhero, just old Nikki here. Because they could easily revert her back to her old gimmick if they wanted to. And then I had Mia Yim here also, who was also released. But I really feel like she should have been on my TV way, way long ago. But if I couldn't have her here, I would put Zelina in her place. Then my SmackDown team, I didn't even say who my leader was. My leader on this team was Liv Morgan. I know it should be Becky Lynch, but I feel like Liv Morgan deserves it more. I feel like all the Becky stans are going to attack me if they hear me say this on Twitter. Gosh. SmackDown, I had Naomi as my leader with Charlotte, Shotzi, Shayna Baszler with a good build. If they can make Shayna look like how she used to when she faced Becky back at WrestleMania 36. Mm-hmm. And then I had Toni Storm also because I love Toni Storm, and I'm really high on Toni Storm right now, so I'm excited for her if she gets the match against Charlotte. I think they could let her beat Charlotte there and give Charlotte another reign in the future because they know that they want to get her to 16. So that's what I had for my female teams.
Cool.
Carissa.
Yeah, I'll go. So for my Raw team, definitely team captain. I'm gonna agree with Jaychele Liv as team captain. I mean, she's been underutilized for so many years. Even with the Riot Squad, we weren't able to see who Liv Morgan really was as
Yeah.
As a competitor, as a wrestler. And I feel like she needs to be showcased a lot more. And I hope, she has a good match, not a great match, a fantastic match with Becky whenever that happens. I know she's next in line for the title. So I'll have Liv. Bianca, I mean, she's a powerhouse. Like, I don't know how much she deadlifts, but she's strong AF. And I think having her being showcased a lot more in the Survivor Series match, either see her lifting somebody like a Sasha Banks or Shayna Baszler, or her doing something to showcase what she can do, I think having her on the team would mean a lot. Definitely I'll have to go with my Rosalina Vega. I mean, I love that woman so much. And, now that she's queen and she's a tag champion, like, I think having her more as a singles competitor would mean a lot more to what she can do, because I know she works her ass off. I'm sorry, but she works her ass off. Like, I love that woman. I love her so much. So definitely her. I think my fourth would have to be Becky Lynch. I mean, she's already like a legend, I'd say. I think she's a legend already. And my last one, I haven't even decided on that. I mean, I think I'd have to go with Alexa Bliss.
Old Alexa or like Fiend Alexa?
No, 5 Feet of Fury Alexa.
Good. That's exactly the one I was thinking. I was like, 5 Feet of Fury Alexa's the best. So, smart choice.
So then my SmackDown, I mean, have Sasha as your team captain. I mean, she's been captain before in 2019. This year, I mean, she's amazing. I'll go with her. My next one definitely would have to be Natalia.
You would keep with the tradition of Natty being on the Survivor Series team.
I mean, it's Natalia. You can't say nothing bad about that woman. She's
a veteran.
Right.
She's what, a third generation star? Like, come on. Like, have Natty on your Survivor Series team. So I'll have her. Sonya Deville as my next one.
That's so smart. I didn't even think of that.
Daddy DeVille, I'm sorry. That's she's the sweetest woman. I'm so glad I met her. Like, definitely I'll have her. And then my final one will have to be Toni Storm.
Tony Train.
I love Toni Storm. Okay. I've got multiple things happening on my booking. Okay. So, with the Raw team, I have Bianca Belair as the leader, but I also have Rhea Ripley on the team, and I feel like they are both not so much butting heads, but there's a lot of friction between them because of their history together with NXT. They were the final two at Royal Rumble. And to me, I feel like Rhea wants to be the leader, and she deems herself more fit to be the leader. And they declared Bianca to be the leader, and Rhea saying that she's not ready and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And she is current tag women's champion. So she somehow gets Nikki Ash to be on the team. I think it's kind of baloney that they paid Nikki dust at the real Survivor Series and didn't have her there. Like, I have such a problem with like them two being tag champions. Not so much of them being champions, but because I feel like giving them the women's tag titles was literally giving them a roadblock to their push, whether it was Rhea's forced push and Nikki's organic push with the crowd. So I feel like you can play off something with that where like Nikki has a few moments in the match where she surprises people and she probably eliminates XXX. We'll get to that in a minute. Uh, so it's not so much of like a coexist, but it's more of like Bianca and Rhea just have so much history together of just always butting heads and always going against each other, where they're kind of just, as leaders. Then I would have Liv Morgan on the team because Liv definitely needs the push. I would even leave her as maybe the last survivor, maybe the sole survivor. If Raw won, I would definitely give her the sole survivor winning status. If I'm booking it that way, I don't know, we'll see. And then I have Tamina on the team as well, because like, again, same thing like Natalia. Tamina is a veteran. She's been in the company for so long. Like, a lot of people say that she's green and she can't wrestle and this and that, but they also have not given her the amount of TV time as they should in order for her to not be green and to learn and give her the experience. Because when she was having that feud with Sasha Banks, like, that was good. That match with her and Sasha Banks and like Bailey, or it was like her and Bailey or something like that, whatever it was, that match was actually good. And I was like, oh snap, they're like believing in Tamina. And then they did this year by having her win at WrestleMania, and then back and forth, circles, all that stuff. I think Tamina deserves better. Now, with SmackDown, I definitely have Naomi as leader because I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand how you have Naomi right there and you don't give her a lick of anything at Survivor Series. Not even a drop. Nothing at all. You're telling me that you had Aaliyah come onto the team and then they kick her out of the team and then you add Toni Storm. I love Toni Storm. Don't get me wrong. I love her. But Naomi was standing right there. And like, how long have we been preaching for them to give Naomi a chance? Like, since her comeback at the Royal Rumble at 2020, right? I think it was?
Yeah.
Oh no! Jaychele! We lost her. She was so upset. She left. No, I'm kidding.
That internet is gotta be.
I'm sorry. I swear my Wi-Fi hates me. I don't know what I did to my Wi-Fi to do this. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good. It's all good. It happens. We carry on. Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been paying Naomi dust ever since like the 2020 Royal Rumble when she literally gained mainstream exposure for the entire company. So I would give her the leader role for SmackDown. I would throw Natalia in there. Again, she's a veteran. I would agree. I think she deserves it. But also, I want to throw her in there because I want a moment where like Natalia's in the ring and someone goes for the tag on Raw and then Tamina gets tagged in and then they have that moment together because they used to be tag partners. Like, WWE is all about the moments, right? Well, I'm booking it the same way. I want that moment between Natalia and Tamina. Give me that. I would also add Shotzi in there, and I would also add Shayna Baszler. I feel like both of them. Shayna did a really good job. What was it, like last year? No, 2019 when it was the main event with her, Bailey, and Becky. Really, and it was so good, and I feel like that's what they need, right? They need like wrestlers who have a history of winning at Survivor Series, whether it's within a team or within their own championship matches. And she won. So like, I would bring her in. Shotzi's also like up and new. Like, she's a newcomer, but she's got a lot of spunk. She's got a lot of grit. I would definitely put her in there. I can trust her to, I don't know, suicide dive into a pile of chairs. Who knows? Yeah. And then the last one I would pick is Sasha. I feel like there could be a good moment backstage at SmackDown where they're trying to look for another component for the Survivor Series team, and Naomi doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know who to turn to. She doesn't want to like get Aaliyah. She doesn't trust Sonya. So she goes to Sasha, and maybe Sasha's just like backstage doing her thing, and like, I don't know, someone's filing her nails for her or something, and Naomi's not like begging her to join the team, but Sasha Banks is pretty much the big guns to
I
join the
think
team.
that would work too because they were on Team Bad together like years and years ago. So
Exactly.
if WWE has a memory, they could play off of that.
Exactly. But
yeah,
that's how I would book it.
Then the last thing for the Survivor Series stuff is who would you choose to win the match, male and female, and who is your sole survivor?
Okay. For the male, I would have either. See, I don't know who to pick. See, I don't know who I would win because I want SmackDown to win for the male team. But if SmackDown's gonna win, I would want the sole survivor to be either Drew Gulak or Ali. But if Raw wins, I would really love if Montez Ford was the sole survivor. Again, I feel like Survivor Series is all about like building newer stars, or at least it should be when you have a match with so many names in there. Mm-hmm. And it's worked very well with Keith Lee and Rhea Ripley and NXT as a whole. So I'm tied between that. With the women, I would honestly have Raw win, and I would give it to Liv Morgan. I feel like out of all those women, Liv Morgan is the most deserving, and I feel like it would give her that ultimate push because Liv, she's got that feud with Becky right now, and like that's really good, but like they're not giving her anything. Like she's not winning matches. Like she had that one pre-show match with Carmella during Extreme Rules, and like what the hell was that? Everyone was rooting so like heavy for her, and then they just completely dropped the ball with Liv, and they're giving her Becky, but it's still like it's so like man,
Becky, who hasn't been defeated in 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's just
like
right. Like for me, it's like I want to be excited that Liv Morgan is a part of this and like is finally feuding with Becky, but like I'm not dumb. Like she's not gonna win.
I wasn't excited for Bianca getting Becky. Yeah, I was scared, and look what happened. Oh, I was right.
So
I can't. Yeah. Carisa, what are you thinking? Who would you have win? Who's your sole survivor?
I think I'd have for the women. I think I'd have Team Raw win that match, and either Liv Morgan or Bianca Belair as sole survivor. I think, that will cement, that'll like, showcase that, that they won, that they're capable of doing, whatever it is, whether it's a Survivor Series match, a Royal Rumble match, a title match, any of that sort. I think that will mean a lot to their careers, and it'll show us fans why we should believe in them and why we should, keep on, supporting that person.
Right.
And I think for the men, I want to see SmackDown win, and I want Cesaro to be the sole survivor. I mean, that man is amazing at what he can do. At 41 years old, still to this day, doesn't look like he's, he's lost his step. I think, I honestly want to see him with the World Championship. It's been too long. He's been with the company for 10 years or something. Like, he deserves to be champion. It's been, needed for, I think it's been needed for 5 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, having him be the sole survivor will, I don't know how to explain it. Will show that he is world champion. World championship, he's worthy enough to be a champion. He's worthy enough to, be that guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have a SmackDown clean sweep here. I have Ricochet as my sole survivor. I think Ricochet is criminally misused right now. I know that WWE doesn't allow for smaller sized wrestlers to be champions. But But I feel like they could at least give him a Damian Priest level U.S. title reign where he's going on a tear, undefeated, all that stuff. I really like that idea for Ricochet, and I think he has so much potential. Like when they were commenting on that flip that he did on SmackDown, I think it was, in the battle, the fatal 5-way. They basically were just like, oh my God, look at that flip, when he's done so much more than that. And people say he can't cut a promo. One, either give him a manager, or two, let him give his own promos that the WWE doesn't write for him and make him sound robotic. There's that. But for my female Soul Survivor, I have Naomi here. I feel like Naomi needs some redemption after the Sonya Deville storyline. For me, the Sonya Deville storyline has felt like a lot of racism. I don't know how to pivot her away from this right now, because I think she'll be stuck in this until at least day one if they give her a match against Sonya. I don't know what's holding them back from doing this and pulling the trigger with this stuff, but if they can't do that, then I think they just forget it and let her win this and give her a shot at the championship. So
I like straight up don't see them playing this out with like Sonya entering the ring. Like when Sonya had that like match with her and then Shayna came out, like that was really good, but I just don't understand this. Like I don't understand that whole feud. Like I feel like that feud only works out. Oh no, we lost Jaychele.
That internet is pissing her off.
The internet is the heel of this entire fantasy booking.
Literally. Okay, I think we just need to expect that this is going to happen again at this point, because I
think we just need to expect that your Wi-Fi disagrees with your fantasy booking.
Right. My Wi-Fi hates women's wrestling, because every time I think it's gone out, we've been talking about women's wrestling. Yeah. So I feel like that's what we are.
Like, you're wrong. All right.
Okay. So this next part of the show is like actual like fantasy booking, like stripping all of the walls of promotions and promotional storylines and creating our own stuff. So we're going to draft 10 men, 10 women, one men's world champion, one women's world champion, and then create a 6. We can do 6. If you don't want to do a full 6, that's fine. I was thinking a 6-match card. So basically 3 male matches, 3 female matches, because we believe in equality here. And then you can decide the order if you want to. If you just want to put them out, it's fine too. And you can name it if you want to also. I'm really excited for Alex to teach me about a bunch of wrestlers I don't know about. So I'm super, super excited for Alex's.
I guess I'm going first.
Yeah.
No, I think you know all these wrestlers. So
okay.
Maybe.
I probably do.
Probably.
Carissa knows, like, I am like deep in mainstream wrestling, and Carissa is like so like broadly intelligent when it comes to like all wrestling promotions. I don't understand it.
Okay. All right. Hopefully I teach. Okay.
Wait.
Well, let me wait until your internet comes back. I mean, her internet said, no, we're not doing that today. Wow. Well, I'm definitely gonna wait until she comes back to let them know about my fantasy.
I'm really internet hates you.
No, it's fine. That honestly happened to me a few weeks ago when I was doing a watch along at Full Gear for Going in Raw, Steven Larson on Twitch. It was raining so hard in New York, and we had a hailstorm, and my internet from my whole entire neighborhood just like went out.
Wait, you live in the Bronx, right?
Yeah.
I live in Queens.
Hey! That's what's up! Oh my god!
Yeah, I've been living in Queens my whole life. I've never lived in any other borough at all.
I'm born and raised in the Bronx, and then I lived in Harlem for a while.
Upset now. Like, I'm getting actually mad.
It's okay. We just gotta speed up because apparently your internet got other things to do.
Yes. Okay. I'm so sorry, guys. We'll have this fixed for the next episode. I'm gonna figure out how to fix this.
It's all good. All good.
Alex, I'm sorry. My internet interrupted you. Wow, said that 2 times fast. Okay.
So rude. Okay. So do you want to go by like the list of people? Like we could each go by the list of,
yeah, like you can draft
and then we'll say our pay-per-views.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So for my women, I have Lulu Pencil, of course. I have Maki Ito. I have Willow Nightingale.
Smart.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks. I also have Killer Kelly.
Oh, yes.
Trish Adora. Edith Surreal. Ziggy Hyam. The Sea Stars, who are a tag team, and the Inspirations, who is also a tag team.
Oh my God, Inspiration.
So I think you can guess one of my matches. And so for the men, I have, I'm sorry, I had to do it. 1997, Shawn Michaels, that era. I need it. I want it.
Yes.
Give it to me. I also have Eddie Kingston, Homicide. I have Kevin Owens, MV Young, Eddie McQueen. I also have Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, and
I just want to say, Daniel Garcia noticed me on Twitter yesterday. I have not lived down my excitement over that happening. We'll talk about it more when we get to my part, but I'm excited. Okay, I'm sorry.
I know you're good. He's great. I love him. So I have Daniel Garcia, I have Lee Moriarty, and then I have Minoru Suzuki. No!
This internet is...
Her internet said, all right, we're done here. How dare you add Daniel Garcia? How dare you add Daniel Garcia into the mix?
She probably has like an outage or something.
Maybe that could be it.
Because I've dealt with those for so many years now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm on my phone. We're gonna do it this way now because I'm fed up. Okay. I'm sorry, guys.
Got you.
Okay, let me
You are
turn up
now
my volume.
Alex.
There we go. Okay.
You are now Alex, Queen of the Ring, and I.
Let's do it.
I am Jaychele.
Okay.
Hello. So continue, Alex. Tell us about your fantasy.
Perfect. Okay. No more interruptions now. We should be good to go. I apologize to all the viewers. This is a sucky first episode due to my Wi-Fi.
Hey, man. It happens. It only goes up from here. That's what that means.
Oh, my God. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay.
So Daniel
Last
Garcia,
I heard was...
We'll pick it up there.
Yep,
Daniel
there you
Garcia, Lee Moriarty, and then the last person is Minoru Suzuki.
Wow, very, very strong. Okay, Carisa, do you want to go?
All right, so it's 10 and 10, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so 10 women. I'd say definitely I'd go with the number 2 ranked female in the PWI. Wait, the women's PWI. I don't know how to say her name. Alex, can you say her name? Because I can't say it.
The second woman?
Yes, the number 2 ranked.
Oh my god. What's her name? Oh my god.
It's Mayu something.
Mayu Iwatani?
Gosh.
Let's go to Google.
I'm
gonna butcher her name, but we'll Google it.
Because Mayu Iwatani. Are you saying the second person that was
that was ranked in the women's
Utami?
Yeah.
Yeah, Utami.
Utami. Yeah. Utami.
I definitely have Utami on there.
Okay, that's a good one.
Maki Ito. For sure.
I'm talking about.
Deonna Purrazzo.
Okay.
That's a strong one. China.
Ugh. Be still. Be still, my heart.
I'll have her. Who else? Ooh, Trish Stratus.
Ooh.
Yes. Yes.
Sasha Banks for sure. Zelina Vega. Sorry.
I could have guessed that one.
I just have to. Her Zelina Vega. Definitely, I'd want to have Makos Atamora. I love that. I love what she does in her ring. I think she's fantastic and a legend. So, Mako.
I just learned that she's married to Minoru Suzuki like this week.
Yeah.
I blew my mind. I saw their wedding picture. I was like, oh my god.
Do you also know Io Shirai is married to Evil?
No.
I just blew her mind.
Yeah. She's Evil.
Yeah, I blew her mind so much her internet's gonna go out.
Not on my phone. Stop. Please stop. Not the internet. I feel like my arch rival, you know how like Bianca has Sasha, Stone Cold has The Rock. Mine is my Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yep. That's just what it is. Okay. It's okay. Carissa, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So I said Mako, and then my last one is Kaylee Ray.
Smart. You chose them right after each other. I love their match. Their match was so good, so underrated. But NXT UK doesn't get watched much, so.
Yeah. I think for the men, Hiroshi Tanahashi. You just gotta have him.
He's the ace.
I'd say Hiroshi Tanahashi, Yuji Nagata, for sure. Who else? Who else can I pick from New Japan? Ooh,
yes.
Ooh, this is a good one. Tomohiro Ishii.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, really good.
Ishii. If we're gonna go the Ring of Honor days, I'd say the homie 187 Homicide.
Damn.
You just gotta have your New Yorkers in there. I mean, he's a fucking legend. So Homicide.
Did you censor yourself, correct?
Yeah, I just tried because I want to be too, crazy. I'm sorry.
It's our first show.
Let me be.
I have to censor myself.
So I said Homicide. Eddie Kingston. Bryan Danielson. Who else? Danielson. Ooh. The Rock.
Who?
The Rock.
I don't know who that is.
You mean the egg?
I'm kidding.
Alex. Oh my god. I'm gonna have him there.
Does he bring the egg? Does he take the egg with him to the pay-per-view?
No egg.
Okay. There were requests for us to rebook the egg storyline, and I decided we would stay far away from that.
All right, let's do it right now. We make an omelet. End of.
No. We steal it from Vince, and we use it to create our own wrestling company and hire all of the wrestlers that they would release, and then make Triple H in charge.
And by use it, we mean pawn it and get the money for it.
Oh
yes.
my. How many did I have left?
I think you have like one more.
One more? Ooh. Okay.
Am I wrong?
I think
no,
so.
she has one more.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a difficult one. But I think I have to go with Edge.
Smart.
Ooh.
Smart. I've decided that every time I do this show, I have to make a new full list, and I can't reuse people. at least for like the end of this year. So I'm going with current people now, and I'm going to work my way into the past. Okay, I'm going to start with my woman. I have Cora Jade on my list because I love her look, and I think she's a future star, and she's super young, and you could invest a lot in her.
Yeah.
I have Ty Conti Mark. I feel like she could be the one to take the belt off Thunder Rosa in AEW, and I wouldn't be upset. So I think she's right there. Layla Hirsch, love Layla Hirsch. Criminally underrated and underused as well.
Mm-hmm.
Bianca Belair, of course. I love Bianca. Sasha and Charlotte I have also. I feel like Charlotte can be great in and out the ring if she's in the right environment. So I feel like if there's not as much competition as there is in WWE, I feel like she wouldn't be as negatively perceived. I also have Io Shirai. Thunder Rosa, love Thunder Rosa. Red Velvet, she's another one of the stars that I think if you put stock in her, she has really, really amazing potential. And my sleeper pick, Tasha Steelz. I love Tasha Steelz.
God, yeah.
Book Tasha Steelz correctly.
Okay. She's also a Boricua.
Yes. Okay. This is where things start to go off the hinges. I told people what I was doing on my Twitter already. So, in my men's roster, I have Dante Martin, Daniel Garcia, Carmelo Hayes, Lee Moriarty, Wheeler Yuta, Santana and Ortiz separately, Ricochet, Shane Taylor, and Jonathan Gresham. And I feel like that's a lot of stylistic clashes I just named.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, as Jonathan would say, styles make fights. So I'm very intrigued to see how somebody like a Ricochet would pair against a Shane Taylor, how that match would work out. A Dante versus Ricochet would just kill me now. But yeah, I think we should talk about our men's and women's champions quickly, if you guys want to name them from your company, your promotions.
Okay. So my men's champion is going to be Minoru Suzuki, and my women's champion is going to be his daughter, Killer Kelly.
Smart. What are you thinking, Carissa? What do you got?
I think my men's champion has to be Hiroshi Tanahashi. And
I'm not going to argue with you.
And then my women's. Oh, okay. I'd say Utami.
Interesting. I have Carmelo and Tasha Steelz. I like people of color as my champions. So, there you go. But next we have our 6-match card. Do you guys think you guys can do 6 matches each?
So, do we have to use all of our wrestlers?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, you can use as much or as little in a match.
Okay.
You think you can make it to 6 too, Carissa?
Probably.
Okay. Do you guys want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. My first match, because one of them has said that they want this match to happen, I have Io Shirai versus Thunder Rosa. Io helped to train Rosa, and Rosa wants the match. I would love to see it. I also have Ty Conti versus Sasha Banks. I just think it would be a super interesting match to see how their styles clash, and I feel like Ty would work for Sasha. Like, she would sell like Bianca does and all that stuff. And then my championship match for the woman, I have Tasha Steelz versus Bianca Belair. I don't know how their styles would match up. I would just love to see that match. Those are like my 2 favorite wrestlers from Impact and from WWE. So just to have them face off against each other would be super interesting. I have Santana versus Ortiz. I think that's super interesting. And if they want to tell that storyline one day, that they could. That's also very intriguing to me. And I have Ricochet versus Jonathan Gresham. And I'm more intrigued in the storyline than I am the match, because I think you could make Jonathan to be a heel and say that he hates the way that Ricochet wrestles, and that the way that Jonathan wrestles is the best way to wrestle, and then tell the story that way. And I have a fatal 5-way for my love in the championship match. Carmelo Hayes versus Daniel Garcia versus Dante Martin versus Lee Moriarty versus Wheeler Yuta. And I would have Daniel Garcia take the belt off of Carmelo Hayes because I love Daniel Garcia and he noticed me on Twitter. And when I see him in person eventually, I'm going to ask him the actual question I asked him on Twitter. The whole situation came from him posting Bing Bong, which is a thing from a TikTok, where they go to New York City and they ask him questions. Bing and bong. Then there you go. Did you see what I said? I said, what do you want to tell Joe Biden right now? He goes, what's up? Take me out to dinner. And I lost my mind. I texted Cass, my boss for Body Slam. I made a Photoshop picture of me sitting next to Daniel Garcia when it was actually Sammy Guevara. I'm going to post it on my Twitter later. I'm in my heaven. So I have Daniel Garcia ending as my champion and Bianca Belair also ending as my champion, taking the belt off Tasha Steelz. So, yes.
Crazy.
Who wants to go next?
I mean, how do we top that?
Who wants to make their wrestlers battle for their love, too?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Okay. So, on my pay-per-view, I would have MV Young versus Kevin Owens. Then I would have Lulu Pencil versus Ziggy Hayam, and I feel like that would be more of like a comedy match.
Yeah.
Kind of like a palate cleanser for the crowd. Then I would have... Wait, hold on. Let me count. Okay, this is 6. Okay, so 2... Okay, so then I would have Lee Moriarty versus Danny Garcia versus Shawn Michaels. So I'd have a triple threat for that. And then I would have Sea Stars versus The Inspiration, and that would be for tag titles. Now, for the women's title, Killer Kelly is going in as champion, and I would have her face off against Sasha Banks and Trish Adora, but in a ladder match.
Ooh.
Yeah, I would have that in a ladder match. It's a toss-up between Kelly retaining and Trish Adora winning. But I feel like the main feud to come out of that triple threat ladder match is Trish Adora versus Killer Kelly, and then we could book that for the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And then the main event, the champion Minoru Suzuki is going one-on-one against Darius Lockhart in a last man standing match, and I would make Darius win. So
that match would make me cry tears. Actual tears.
Me too.
Carissa, what do you got?
So I honestly want to see Maki Ito versus Zelina Vega. I want to see how that plays out. I mean, are both amazing, off camera. Then on camera, we can see their characters. Like, I see Maki on AEW and I see Zelina on WWE. And they are amazing at what they do. I think if you see them in a ring together on a pay-per-view, that's make my day, basically. Make my day, honestly. I know this is a dream match for everyone. Sasha Banks versus Makos Atamora.
How can they make that happen in real life? How can you actually...
It can happen. She lives in the
Send Sasha to NXT UK or something.
I feel like
NXT UK for
I feel
a
like
second.
the way that they would make that happen as like a teaser is with the Royal Rumble, and you have Mika Satomura come out at the Royal Rumble and she faces off against Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks is already in the Rumble. Like, that's the only way that I can see them WWE kicking that off. But
that would make sense. I was just thinking if they
that would make too much sense.
Right.
That's been a dream match for like years now. Probably like 2+ years in the making, I guess. Because I know she went to Japan and she trained with Mako. when she took her break. So
the storyline is right there for them. But
yeah.
And I want to see Trish versus Chyna.
I thought you would do Trish versus Sasha. Because that's the match that they've been teasing now. But that makes sense also.
Yeah, so I'd have Trish versus Chyna for sure. And then, like, on the men's team, Tanahashi versus KO.
Oh, okay.
Think, you know, they're both talented. I mean, Tanahashi's a legend. Like, I think their chemistry together, like, if you see them as singles competitors, but you put them together in the ring, going head to head, I think it'd be match of the year. I really would love that. And then for my next one, I'd say Edge versus Tomohiro Ishii. Like, I mean,
I would cringe for that though. I'd be so scared that Edge would get injured.
Nah.
Oh my god.
But that's me watching
Edge's
any
neck.
Edge match.
Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
oh my god. And then my last one, I haven't decided yet, but I'm gonna just say it. I want forgot who I had on my list, but Randy I want to have against Daniel Garcia.
I'm gonna be walking away from this show extremely happy. We all had matches, including Daniel Garcia. I have never been prouder. Kate is gonna watch this back, and she's gonna scream at me, and so is Ryan. But I'm just happy Daniel Garcia is getting the love that he deserves.
He deserves it. He deserves it. I honestly think he's like wrestler of the year next to Lee Moriarty.
I mean,
right? I have no
not
problem.
biased because he's my friend.
I mean, he wrestled Minoru Suzuki this year. I mean,
yeah.
Who else can say that they wrestled Minoru Suzuki on an independent show?
But that's the thing. Who else can say that they've wrestled Minoru Suzuki in an independent show, right? But also CM Punk on national television.
Right.
Like.
Right. I think a person I would put up there with them also because of what he's doing right now is Jonathan Gresham as well. Because he works semi-indie dates, and he did have that match with Minoru and GCW, I think.
Yeah, that was here. That was here, right?
I think that was in...
Yeah, it was in Queens. I think it was... No, was it? It was Homicide versus Suzuki in Queens.
It was in Brooklyn. For GCW? Yeah, I think that was a Brooklyn show. Somewhere in Brooklyn. Either way, it was a show that happened in New York City.
Yes.
Which borough? To be continued.
If somebody wants to Google it, and then I'll just tweet it out after so I can correct my mistake. But I think that's a really interesting conversation to have because we just listed off so many amazing wrestlers and so many amazing matches that like every wrestler could somehow be in the conversation for Wrestler of the Year, and I don't think I would necessarily argue with it. It's this year in wrestling was literally insane. Like the other day I was like, I watched Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson have a match in AEW in 2021 when Bryan Danielson competed at WrestleMania the same year, and I'm just like,
the main event at WrestleMania. Like, that's
literally
the thing that gets me. It's the main event. And I forget that so freaking much. Like, and, like, oh my God. Dude, the fact that I went to Chicago and I got not only Daniel Bryan, but I also got Adam Cole, Ruby Soho, and Minoru Suzuki. And I came out of that alive. Like, crazy.
I'm excited. I decided I'm going to Revolution no matter where it is. Fingers crossed it's actually in Orlando like it's been reported. I can't even imagine who would debut at Revolution. Like there's going to be so many free agents, so many people on the market. Like that's right around time for Ring of Honor debuts. If they want to push those back too, they could do those there. They could do recent WWE releases there. We could see Keith Lee and Shane Taylor pop up there together. Oh my God, I would die. Shane Taylor has something they've talked, and I really, really need that. But I'm really intrigued to see how this next year in wrestling goes, because there's so much momentum now. And I'm super excited. I think that there's so many opportunities to put on these big matches, but I wish AEW would use some of their younger stars a little bit more against these bigger people. I mean, I know that they're not going to let like CM Punk lose yet. I mean, they are to MJF likely, but like I would have liked to see him get a. You don't think it?
I don't think so. Like I don't know. I can't see anybody. Like I think MJF would be a good person to knock that. I thought it was gonna be Eddie Kingston. Like
I could see that.
I thought it was gonna be him, but to give CM Punk like his first win, like I have no idea if it would be MJF, but
if they're putting MJF in the title picture, I think he takes a win here. If they're not, then they could keep pushing him out. But I don't. If he wins here, I see him in the title picture. If he loses here, I don't see him in the title picture.
I feel like it's way too soon for MJF to be in the title picture, only because if MJF is going to be in the title picture, that first like championship match he has, he's winning. In my eyes, he's winning. And I just
definitely.
think it's a little too soon for him to get that like weasel heel win.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like he would win the same way he won at Full Gear, with like the brass knuckles and everything. So but going off of what you were saying earlier, like I absolutely agree. I think because the show's all about fantasy booking, right? I feel like next year, especially for WrestleMania, when everyone's 90s days are completely up, it's going to be the craziest WrestleMania weekend ever. And I'm not just talking with the big show. Like, I really do think that with the indie shows that are coming up, like, we are getting so many release talent. And it's unfortunate that they lost their jobs in the way that they did. But there's so many people that could have amazing fantasy matches all weekend. Like, to see a possible, like, Mia Yim versus Trish Adora would be insane. To see Taya Valkyrie kind of go back to some of her feuds that she had in the indies, and maybe even Impact as well during an indie show, like Keith Lee coming back into the indies is gonna be insane.
Shane Strickland going back.
Shane Strickland, like come on, Shane Strickland
so
alone.
excited.
Like there's so many names that were released where everyone was so sad, but that's the beauty of this year, is with those releases, with Ruby, and even just contracts going up with Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole. Like look what
Johnny,
they've done.
Kyle,
you know? Johnny,
Kevin,
Kyle, exactly,
Sammy.
and even like going to like more of the women, like the Inspiration are now tag champs in Impact, and Mickie James is now a champion, and at that, like they are world champions, because now those titles are considered like legit titles, and they're doing just fine. So,
and Deonna Purrazzo, I feel like we haven't even acknowledged her enough. Like she came from like getting literal pebbles in NXT,
yeah, that's right,
to becoming like Impact champion.
But that's the thing about Deonna Purrazzo, is that she's doing so good right now. I forgot Homegirl was in NXT. Like I forgot she was in NXT, because that's how good she's doing now. That she never needed it. She never needed it, and she never needed the reminder from everybody else of like, oh, well, she was in that last company. Like the way that people give like Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole, like she never needed that, because she just was all talent, and it shows.
Right. Her and Ty Conti have definitely been standouts.
Yeah.
From NXT. Well, at least some of the released women in NXT.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see how they continue to format their NXT superstars, because obviously NXT 2.0 is a totally different show. They're bringing in less wrestlers, more like regular athletes and bodybuilders and all of that stuff. And they've talked about doing like trial, like 60-day trials or something like that. I'm intrigued to see how that goes because we might. I have a feeling there's going to be somebody who we see, and then we like them and they stick with us, and then we just like don't see them anymore because of the trial or whatever because they don't work for WWE. I'm so disappointed, but at the same time, I'm so happy for these people that there are so many options. I mean, ROH isn't here or isn't likely going to be here in the capacity that it was before, but there's still always going to be a bunch of other places that have television and can get you on TV and can get your name out there still. So I'm very intrigued to see who AEW signs, how many people AEW signs actually, who they pass over, wherever they end up if they get passed over, all of that stuff. So there's lots of ifs and what ifs and all that stuff. But thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'm going to give you guys a second to plug your stuff. Alex, where can they find you and where can they find your merch? Because it's Black Friday still.
Oh
so
my
if
God,
they're watching live.
So if you are watching this from Friday today till Monday, my shirts, queenofthering.big cartel. My shirts are on sale. They're $20 now. Ring your tees. It's my logo. It's really cute. There's more merch coming. I don't know. We'll see. Wink, wink. But you can find me on Twitter at Queen of the Ring with 2 G's because I couldn't afford the real name. Vince, Tony, help me out. You can find me here on YouTube, youtube.com/Queen of the Ring Wrestling. We do some stuff there. I've been taking a little bit of hiatus because we all need a break. But you can usually find me on twitch.tv/Queen of the Ring. We watch Total Divas there. I know not a lot of the guys like Total Divas. It's fine. But if you can watch Jersey Shore and Flavor of Love, you can watch Total Divas. It still holds up. And we watch wrestling there. We do a little variety of everything. Animal Crossing, all that good stuff. Also, if you want to get more into Joshi wrestling, you could follow Church of Joshi everywhere on Instagram, Twitter. We are not going to have an episode this Sunday, but definitely stay tuned to our socials to figure out when we will and all that good stuff. I think that's all I have. Oh, I also write for the Sportster now. My Survivor Series article was out. There's a new article coming out very, very soon. Oh my God, my resume is so long. That's it.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing, as you should.
I should just make a link tree. Just like, click here. I don't know.
Do it.
I do. It's just like for the general like word of like,
right.
You know.
It's a lot. Carisa, where can they find you?
So you guys can find me on my Twitter at CarisaL517. I post anything wrestling, K-pop related, any of that sort. I post a lot there, so go check that out. Go check out my Instagram at Carisa_. I also post a lot of things from like dancing to K-pop to wrestling to anything in general. So go check out my Instagram. And that's all I have. I don't have any more. So.
Well, you guys can find me on Twitter at Jaychele Nicole right here. I'm still bad with my directions right over here. We all got our little name tags with the little @ signs, so you can follow us over there. You guys can also check me out on bodyslam.net, writing articles all the time. I just broke some news about Shane Taylor with the help of Carisa through that interview. So you guys can check that out. We got 3 exclusives out over there. I'm on here every now and then. You can follow my Twitter to check up on when I'm live. But we'll be back here next Friday with a new guest. Well, actually, new guests. I'm going to announce it now. We have Jeremy Lambert and Joe Hopper of the Distraction Podcast. So we're super excited to have them.
Big names.
Alex, you've been an amazing guest, and we're so thankful for having you. Make sure that you guys like, comment, and subscribe on this channel. Check out bodyslam.net for all your wrestling news, editorials, all that good stuff. And we will see you guys in the next one. So thank you guys. Bye.
She just left.
It's still live.
Oh, it's still live?
What? Wait, let me text her.
I think we just leave. Do we just leave?
I don't know. She was supposed to